come on, Plucky, this isn't Dances with Wolves. Sorry. Another great day in paradise. How clear is the water, and look how calm it is. You could water ski all the way across the Caribbean today. It's like one great big swimming pool, people. Who needs GPS when I can see all the way to the bottom? These fish are called permits, not to be confused with a Florida pompano, which are not as big but tastier. You can eat them. It's similar to trevally, although I reckon a bit better tasting since they eat sand crabs and oysters apparently. In my opinion, the quality of these fish are 2 stars out of a possible 4 stars. I'm after a 4-star fish today, the best as per usual, people, and there is one right there. The trouble is, these snapper duck into the holes and crevices and hide. Now, I've got a rule about shooting a fish in small caves and under tight little ledges. I think it's unsportsmanlike, people, so I let them be. I think the fish get a bit wise, though, to this rule of mine and simply just hang out there and tease me a bit. But that's okay. Gotta make it a challenge, people. What a classic. I'm being outclassed by fish brains exploiting my rules. Good on them. Time to go to a new spot where the fish are less cheeky. I don't know about you guys, but I reckon we need to see my interpretation of my no shooting fish in caves rule. Yeah, it did look like a cave, and it was a lousy shot, my goodness. See, 3 days without bloody dog snapper in my belly, it's crazy. Yeah, it did look like a cave, and I know my rules about shooting fish in caves because I think it's unfair and it's their home and, you know, that sort of thing. But it makes spearfishing a bit harder because it's quite easy. However, you saw them sitting in the caves and they're really the fine print in my rules of engagement because they're just hanging there and I'm just sitting there and I can't do anything. So, look, they're not the only ones that can look at the fine print. Technically, that wasn't a cave because there was 2 exits into the lagoon. It's a tunnel and there's 2 entrances and there was a slit at the top. that they can escape. So there you go, that's my take on it. They're not the only ones that can look at the fine print, people.
Enough of that rubbish. Looking to the horizon, the clouds are boiling away. It wouldn't surprise me if we got a couleur de pollo. This translates roughly to the chicken-ass wind. They call it that in these parts because when strong winds hit the palm trees, they look like chicken bums in strong winds too.
Look at this lousy shot. What was I thinking? I'm gonna do mustard fish. So what I'll do is I'm gonna fillet it and I'm gonna smoke the carcass and the liver and the heart for later, but for lunch I'm going to have rice vermicelli and mustard fish with all the veggies that I can spare. I don't think that did anything. That. We've got fish roe that we can smoke as well. That's really good eating, that, people. It's fish eggs. Notice how there's still plenty of flesh on here. That is going to be excellent. Look, I could barbecue it, I don't know yet. It's either going to be barbecued or smoked. Now, I was going to smoke this, but I'm feeling a bit peckish, and fish eggs, raw, are excellent. So, the sack is a bit chewy, but you need to chew it to squeeze out all the eggs. Or, what you can do, put this in your mouth, you squeeze it, and you suck out all the eggs. Bloody good, except I burst the sack. Really good. My actual favourite is when you smoke it and you have it with avocado and dry biscuits. Oh, like saltines or something. It's so good. But this will keep you going for another hour whilst I'm preparing this fish. I don't know how you can be an extra virgin, but use extra virgin. Oh yeah, I should also mention, this is the only mustard we could get. It would be better a whole grain mustard. You probably have to add some more honey or sugar to it when you're doing the fish than what I'm going to do, because they put crap loads of sugar in this sort of stuff. So I like a sweet mustard sauce anyway. But if you can get whole grain mustard, that would be better. Let's not overcook our fish. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically have it so it's just raw, just in the middle. By the time you serve it out and put it on the plate, well, it's going to have cooked through, because you don't need great temperature to cook fish. This is going to take barely a couple of minutes to cook. Now I'm cutting up some cabbage just so I got some crunch in the dish. I've got precious little other vegetables. In fact, I don't have any other vegetables. It would be better to use green or red peppers, broccoli, or cauliflower, or all of them in this dish. I tend to just blanch them so it's crunchy, so it's better for you. You don't cook all the goodness out of it. Don't use cabbage because it's not the best flavour for this, but we've got no choice. Okay, I'm just taking the onion off because that's browned a bit. Well, probably a little bit too much because I was talking. So I'm going to boil some water. Now, I don't understand, I don't know if we've done an episode on this, but I don't understand why people don't use rice vermicelli more often. I mean, we use it mostly. Yes, we do pasta. But this stuff,
it cooks in like 1/8 or 1/10 of the time because it's so thin, it's so fine. It's and it's just like spaghetti. It's got a bit of a slightly different flavour, but it's more Asian taste. So I kind of like it. It practically, I mean, I need a bigger pot than this to fit this whole thing in, but I'm just going to make do and try and shove it in because I'm going to eat this today and tomorrow, which is probably a bit of an overkill. Just shouldn't be eating so much. But this stuff is far, far better than pasta, and actually makes me feel better. Pasta usually puts me to sleep for about an hour, no matter what time of day, because my body's going, oh, jeez, I've got to deal with all this bloody wheat. That's what it looks like. Really, really fine noodles. It just basically just melts in. Now this is too much for this pot, as I said, but see, it's already losing its stiffness. You don't need to keep boiling the rice vermicelli. Once it is hot, just put it aside for 1 or 2 minutes and then it's done. You don't even have to have it boiling. Just hot water is good enough, so it's ideal for sailing passages when boiling can be a dangerous affair. And remember, it's going to be no more than 2 or 3 minutes. Pepper to taste. I'll probably need that in a bit, and I'm going to need honey in a bit. Now I'm going to put the cabbage in right at the end because it's just going to be crunch. It's basically not serving any other function. I like a sweet mustard sauce. So just a couple of these. One more. Also needs a bit of salt. And see, the fish is still raw. It's not breaking apart. Well, that's good. Vermicelli is all good. I'm just going to drain it. There you go. Done. Still a bit raw. Wind was sucking in. Wind's just died. Now it's going to come this way. So let's hope we can eat before that. Because I have to put away the rain collector. Because in the big gusts, it just rips off. Well, it might rip off. There's enough heat in that to fully cook it, so I'm turning it off. So what's it like? Bloody awesome. Minutes. The only bad thing about this thin light spaghetti is that it blows away in over 20 knots. We got some extra virgin olive oil. My ear is playing. Oh, Jesus, that's a lot. My ear is playing up again. You should actually heat this up, but because it's friggin' the tropics, you really don't really need to. I'm pretty sure there's some wax in there. It's holding the water a bit longer, so it's hard for me to shake the water out of my head. So what's going to happen is, if I don't attend to this, the wax is going to build up. and then the moisture is not going to dry out from the ear, and I'm going to get an infection. It's just going to be warm bacteria water, something to swim through. Bacteria will get in there, and it won't dry out, and it's perfect temperature, moist, and I'll get an ear infection. It'll knock me out for a week, and I can't have that because I need to catch fish all the time. So what I'm going to do is, in actual fact, I've already started doing it. This is the third day I'm putting olive oil in. Now, what olive oil is... Look, olive oil is a hydrocarbon. Obviously, it's an oil, olive oil. And wax is, well, it's a hydrocarbon too, but it's a much larger hydrocarbon chain. What I'm attempting to do is the olive oil will soften the earwax, and either it will pour out during the night. If I'm lying on that side, it'll basically start to leak out. Or what I'm thinking, nothing's leaked out yet. So what I'm going to do is, after this, after maybe half an hour, I'm going to stick a syringe in with some warm water and jam it to the one side of my ear hole, ear canal, and just gush the water around, and hopefully it'll get in around and it'll push the wax out. I'm going to do both ears. So what I'll do is I'm just going to block this one off. Where's the toilet paper? Now, you could go to the doctor and he'll do the whole thing. He'll also prescribe some kind of an alcohol or light oil that you put in your ear, which will cost money. You don't need to do it, people. Just use olive oil, okay? In fact, if you're diving a lot, you should be using olive oil all the time. At least every couple of days, just moisten the eardrum. Keeps it all lubricated. And I think there's probably natural antibiotics in the olive oil too, and it'll keep the infection down. So I should be just lubricating it with the olive oil, but in this case I'm going to get rid of the wax. All right, that side's done. I'm going to do the other side. All right. Okay, we're all blocked up. All right, last step in the operation. I didn't heat this up over a flame because your inner ear and your eardrum, sorry, not your inner ear, but the inside of your ear and your eardrum is really delicate. So what I've done is I filled up the syringe and I've sat on it for the last half hour. So it should be close to body temperature. And I don't have a temperature gauge, so heating it up and then squirting it on my eardrum is a dangerous thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove it in and then put it up on a maximum extremity. I'm going to put it in the bowl too so I can see if I've got any wax out. And then I'm going to push really hard and then squeeze it out. All right, here we go. Ah! All right. Well, I missed the bowl, but we definitely got wax. It's a bit gross. It's quite a big chunk. And there's a couple of chunks in here too. So there you go. You don't have to go to a doctor to get the earwax out. Just use olive oil. Don't use any other rubbish that they're going to prescribe to you. Do it for a few days. Cheap syringe. Jam it to one side. Squeeze it. Then put it to another side. Squeeze it as hard as you can without perforating your eardrum. Obviously not too hard. And it'll all come out. Alright, there you go. That's Medico solving ear infection on boat. Dodgy technique 101, people.